Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI recently launched their new product, Lunchly, a Lunchables knockoff that also contains a Prime hydration drink as well as a Mr. Beast Feastables chocolate bar. Now, Lunchly over the past couple of weeks has faced a lot of criticism and backlash for various reasons. For starters, Lunchly is a direct knockoff of Lunchables, a cheap meal kit meant for children. They're known for meat, cheese, and cracker meals, gross little pizzas, nachos, and a few other options as well. I personally actually grew up eating a lot of Lunchables as a kid, so I know a thing or two about Lunchables. They were definitely a little bit of a staple in my household growing up. Now, these three creators are claiming that Lunchly is healthier than Lunchables. They claim it has less sugar, less fat, higher protein, and less calories. Now, the target demographic for Lunchables is primarily children and parents who buy these for their children. Therefore, as a direct competitor to Lunchables, Lunchly is being made for kids. And therefore, I think that advertising Lunchly as being low in calorie is a little bit problematic, as I don't think it is appropriate to be advertising a low-calorie lunch option to children, because realistically, children shouldn't be worrying about the calorie count of their food. That is not something we should be instilling in children. It also doesn't make a ton of sense to be flaunting that Lunchly is lower in calories than Lunchable, considering that some of the Lunchly options are only 30 calorie less than their Lunchable counterparts, which is honestly nothing. 30 calories will not make a difference. And on top of that, all of the Lunchly options that are out at the moment are either 360 or 230 calories per box, and that just doesn't seem like enough food for anyone to have for lunch. Mr. Beast, Logan, and KSI all largely have viewer bases that are under 25, with a lot of their viewers also being under the age of 18. And realistically, these Lunchly lunch kits are not being aimed at that 18 to 25-year-old age demographic. They are being targeted at the younger demographic who's probably in elementary school, who were taking Lunchables to eat for lunch. But now they want them to take Lunchly to lunch. Now, when we look at the recommended calorie intake, even kids up to 12 are recommended to get up to 2,200 calories a day. Now, of course, the needed calorie intake is hugely individual, and it varies based on activity levels and a lot of other variables as well, and for everyone it is just all around different. But let's use this 2,200 needed calories as like a baseline for like an active kid who's around 12 or 13. If we divide up that needed 2,200 calories a day by 3 meals, that gives us about 733 calories that would be needed per every meal to sustain that kid. And obviously, Lunchly is nowhere near that. Now, of course, obviously, we do need to have a lot more nuance when it comes to talking about calories and diets. And of course, using that example doesn't take snacks into account, and it also doesn't take into account that not every meal is going to have a set amount of calories. Some meals are going to be higher or lower, but overall, Lunchly is just too low of a calorie meal to be filling for anyone, especially a growing kid who I think this meal kit is being marketed towards. It also really blows my mind that these creators are promoting Lunchly as if they are also eating Lunchly for lunch, which I just do not think is the case whatsoever. You truly cannot convince me that Mr. Beast, KSI, and Logan Paul are eating this for lunch. Also, especially because these creators are pretty fit, and when you look at Logan Paul, for example, he's heavily involved in wrestling and physical activity, and he's clearly a very active guy, which means that one Lunchly is not going to be nearly enough food to be like a decent lunch for him. It's probably barely a light snack for him. Now, on top of advertising them as being low calorie, the promo video the trio shot, in my opinion, has some very unethical marketing practices. As mentioned, these Lunchly meal kits are being marketed towards kids. And there's a lot of information online that talks about marketing towards kids and what is and is not ethical. And in the promo video, there is a very clear, obvious bias. They boo the competitor, aka Lunchables, they cheer for Lunchly, and even go to the extent of spitting out Lunchables before it even has the chance to hit your taste buds. Like, listen, as I said said previously, I've eaten a lot of Lunchables in my day. I know damn well Lunchables are not that bad. Overall, this promo video is just incredibly over dramatic, and it's very clear that they are just trying to hype up their product by tearing down the competitor. And I would say that I do think in a way that it is a little unethical because, well, kids are dumb, okay? If a big creator that they look up to spits out a Lunchable and says, oh, it's gross and you shouldn't eat it, some kids are going to be like, oh, well, I guess I shouldn't eat Lunchables anymore and I'll go to Lunchly because they told me to. Like, kids are not smart, and they're definitely not smart enough to know when they are being manipulated by marketing tactics. So I just think it's not the greatest way to go about marketing. It just feels a little icky to me, you know? It feels gross. Now, after Lunchly was announced and it hit the store shelves and people went out to go and try it for themselves, the reviews started coming in, and oh boy, they were not all very good. In fact, there was a lot of negative reviews and a lot of criticism that came towards Lunchly. And you know what? I'm really not surprised that Lunchly got a lot of negative reviews, considering this is what some of them look like. I don't think they look good. I would not eat that for lunch. I don't think I would eat that at all. I wouldn't. Ugh. It looks bad. I'll be real, chat. It looks bad. I really do think that the only people who would genuinely like this are the kids who are also eating Lunchables on a regular basis. Now, anyone who is a little bit older, and I think even potentially kids going to high school, have probably started to grow out of eating these really gross, over-processed meal kits, because that's exactly what Lunchly is. Just like Lunchables, they are just really processed, kinda gross lunches. The only thing Lunchable or Lunchly has going for them is the fact that they're easy. And even if Lunchly is a little bit healthier with having less sugar and less fat and more protein, no one exactly buys Lunchables because they're healthy. People only buy them because they're cheap and easy, and they're really appealing to parents who just don't have the time to make their kids lunches. I know in my experience, that's what it was in my household. My parents were busy, didn't have the time to make me lunch, so we would go to the store and we would stock up on Lunchables for the week. And sure, maybe there are some parents out there that when they're looking to buy their kids Lunchables, they'll see Lunchly and that it has less sugar and less fat, and they'll decide to go with that one over Lunchables. But yeah, either way, it's not a healthy option. Like, there are a lot better healthy options for a kid to be eating at lunch than Lunchly or Lunchables. Now, after these products rolled out and all of the criticism and reviews started rolling in, all three of the creators involved with this responded to the criticism, and I don't think they all handled it particularly well. Mr. Beast, I do think, had an okay response to the situation. Lunchables sells hundreds of millions of units and countless people eat it. Our goal is to give people a better for you alternative to it. Our turkey meal, for example, is 80 less calories, 60% less sugar, more electrolytes. We use real cheese, they use cheese product. They can't call it cheese. Higher quality meat, etc. Obviously, eating fresh chicken and broccoli is healthier, but if someone is going to eat a pre-made meal like this, which millions of people do through Lunchables, then I think giving them a higher quality version at roughly the same price is not good in my opinion, which is why we launched Lunchly. Also, as we get economies of scale, we can get things cheaper and we will only be improving the product more and more. And honestly, I really don't have a problem with Mr. Beast's response. I think he handled it really well, but I cannot say the same for KSI and Logan. Also, a cat just jumped on me. Hi, Caspian. KSI actually made a video reacting to all the negative feedback, and then Logan Paul reacted to KSI's video, and they both came to the same conclusion that Lunchly is being so heavily criticized because people just don't like them, and it's all hate, and people would hate anything they do. And they essentially blew off all of the criticism Lunchly has been getting as just hate. Which, you know, I do agree that there are a lot of people out there who are gonna bash any products they release because there's a lot of people who don't like these three creators, and so they're not gonna like the products they put out just because. But on the other side of that, I also think they need to accept some valid criticism, because anything you put out, people are going to have valid criticisms for, whether you like it or not. They also even brought up other creators who have previously launched candy brands and asked why those creators didn't get as negative of a reaction on their product products launch, but I don't think that is a fair argument to make whatsoever because both Feastables and Prime had pretty successful launches without nearly as much criticism as Lunchly is now getting. Now sure, both Prime and Feastables did face some criticism when they launched, because like I said, anything is going to face criticism, but it wasn't to nearly the same extent as Lunchly is getting now. But I also think that is because both of those brands made a lot more sense to be associated with the creators who made them. Mr. Beast making Feastables, I mean, who doesn't like chocolate? Everybody likes chocolate and candy. Prime hydration drinks made a lot of sense for creators who were heavily involved with physical activities and sports and overall just being really active. I think a lot of the criticism Lunchly is facing is because that it is just a mediocre lunch kit that's directly knocking off Lunchables. To me, it really seems like the product was chosen because it was an easy way for them to incorporate Feastables and Prime into one product. Like, it really just seems like a cash grab for everyone involved here, because I really can't imagine that any of them were truly passionate about Lunchables. I honestly think it would be really weird if any of them were passionate about Lunchables and just wanted to make a healthier option. Like, they are all grown men. Like, did any of them frequently eat Lunchables? I really doubt it. And also, that's another reason I think this is getting so much backlash, because I don't think it's a product that any of them are likely to use. And sure, they can post pictures and videos of them eating Lunchly, and I'm sure they have eaten quite a few of them in like the product creation and promotion, but like, you can't convince me that Mr. Beast is eating these for lunch, or KSI or Logan. Like, they're just not. And I think that's part of the reason people are bashing on it so much. If they had made meal kits that I could genuinely picture them eating for lunch, then I think it would have had a better response. Obviously, as I've said so many times in this video, they're trying to be a direct competitor to Lunchables, but I think that if they had tried to target Lunchly at an older segment of their demographic, I think it would have had a better response. If they made meals that were more appealing to people over the age of like elementary school kids, I think a lot more people would have been down for Lunchly. Make it more believable that these creators themselves would eat it. Give us some better meal options, bigger meal options that are more filling with more calories. And with doing stuff like that, I think they would have a way better shot of success than, you know, what has happened with them just being clowned on by the entire internet. And all that being said, I do think there is still a chance that Lunchly will be successful because, as I mentioned earlier, all three of these creators have a pretty large chunk of their viewers who are literal children who this might really appeal to. But in the end, I think it is being so heavily criticized because this is a product for children that we have three grown men trying to convince us is amazing, great food and that we should eat it when it's not. It's slop. I'm sorry. It looks like slop. Have I tried Lunchly? No. Will I try Lunchly? No. I don't need to try it to know that I'm not going to like it, and so I don't want to waste my money on it. Because like I said, this is made for kids, but we have three grown men advertising it as if it's something they genuinely eat, when I know damn well they're not. So anyways, yeah, that is what I think about Lunchly. What do you think about Lunchly? Are you the kind of person who would go out and genuinely buy a product like this? Do you eat Lunchables? Did you eat Lunchables as a kid? If you have kids, would you buy Lunchly for your kids? Let me know what you think all about Lunchly down in the comments below, and I will see you in my next video. Also, if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you would go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I make videos about all things pop culture, social media, and anything I'm feeling passionate about today. And today, it was Lunchly and everything about that. Ooh, what an interesting one. But for real, I am interested to see like if they will actually like try to adapt and take some of this criticism and like make Lunchly better. I mean, it doesn't seem like it. From like Logan and KSI's reaction, it doesn't seem like it. But I think that's also because they're not actually passionate about this and they don't care. But anyways, I will see you in my next video. Bye.